Okay, now let's talk about backup components. What are some of the things that make up, that are part of a backup plan or implementation of a backup plan? Well, first you have your rescue boot media. A rescue boot media is basically a thumb drive. It's going to be usually a thumb drive that has the ability to boot your machine and also will have the backup and restore software on it. And it is created by your backup solution. For example, I use Acronis. I really like Acronis. I use Acronis Cyber Protect Home Office, and it has the ability to create two types of rescue media. But I don't want to get into those two types. But just I can create a rescue media that will include the Acronis software on it. So let's say my hard drive failed, my system drive with Windows on it, no problem. I just get another hard drive, take the old one out, put the new one in, boot up with my rescue media, and restore my hard drive from backups. Wow, awesome. Otherwise, I would have had to install Windows. I would have had to install all my programs, set up all my configurations, my backgrounds, my colors, and all that stuff. Where with my rescue boot media, I can just do all that just with one restore. Pow. All right, and also remember from earlier, when we talked about organization, I have an operating system disk, a OS disk that is just for the operating system and program. So my data is not even in a picture. That's in another drive or another partition. All right, so you don't have to worry about your data. It's just the operating system. So that's why I recommend that you divide your disks or have a disk that is for your operating system and another one for your data, separate disks. All right. Partitions are cool, but if the drive goes out, you lose your data and the operating system. You see what I mean? All right. A NAS unit. Here in the picture, you see an image of a NAS unit, and it's basically a specialized storage unit that has two or more disk drive bays. This one has 6, and they can be configured to provide certain type of redundancy, data protection, so that, let's say, one of the disks fails, you won't be down. If one of the disks fails, you can just take the disk out, put a new one in, but the system will be running the whole time without losing any data. All right. Okay. I can't get too much into that, but that's what a NAS unit is. It's a network attached storage. It provides storage for you to use that is connected to your network. Right. And you can use that storage for your, regular files, company files, whatever, or you can use it for storing your backups. All right? Okay. Cloud storage is basically storage that's available to you in the cloud. What is a cloud? Back in the day, years ago, when there was documentation of that involved the internet, they would you would see a picture of a cloud that represented the internet, and so basically cloud means internet. But nowadays it's more specific of a meaning in that cloud refers to, let's say, resources and applications that are available over the internet. All right, so cloud storage is basically a company has storage that you can access via the internet. That's all. That's what cloud storage is. You can access it via the internet. You can send files to it. For example, think of a Dropbox or OneDrive. They're all cloud storage. They're storage that's in the internet, accessed via the internet. Okay? All right. Another component for backups is your backup appliance. And there's another one that's very much related to this that I'm going to mention later. But a backup appliance is just basically a specialized device that has storage in it, sufficient storage, and it has its own software which you access usually through a web interface. And typically, these devices will synchronize themselves, what's stored on them rather, to the cloud. All right, we just talked about cloud. All right, and that way, if let's say you had a fire in the building and burned your backup appliance up, you still have the data that was on it in the cloud, so you can grab your data back. All right, you can restore. You have to restore the office and of course all that, but at least you have your data. All right, we talked about that scenario earlier. At least you have your data. Now, another device that is not similar, but it's more similar. I guess it's similar more to the NAS, but it's a SAN, a storage area network, which we're going to get into later. And basically, it's just a bunch of storage in a network fashion that's provides storage for your company. You can use it for backups. You can use it for your company files and so forth and so on. But it's called a storage area network, and they are devices as well, similar to this, but it provides a lot of functionality and whatnot, which I don't want to get into that. So that's those are some of the components that you will have in your backup solution. Next, we're going to talk about your backup strategy.